Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Nuts About Thrust. We're here with Carson Yao, one of our recent graduates, and just completed his oral practical and is now the holder of an airframe and power plant certificate.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Carson. I just want to
Yes.
say congratulations for myself. I'm sure Zach wants to say congratulations as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Congratulations. I saw you right after you started. I got to
Yeah.
meet you. But yeah, I just think it's really exciting to have people come through the Thrust Institute of Maintenance and then actually be able to start their career. We're really getting to see a full cycle of students go through now. Yeah. But I think, I think we'll let you introduce yourself for anyone who may not have seen the previous episode. If you don't mind just saying maybe your name and just something brief about you.
My name's Carson Yao. Just got my A&P license. My free time, like just play guitar, hang out, go out in nature.
Yeah.
And now I'm just looking for a job opportunity. So
Awesome. You chose to go to the Thrust Institute of Maintenance. I kind of
Yeah.
want to start there. What kind of led you to that decision to join the school?
so I'd looked at a couple other aviation schools. I looked into AIM down in Irving. Wasn't feeling the best about that. My mom had reached out to John on a business inquiry about it. Reached out to him, scheduled a tour, came over, talked to him. Patrick, the owner, was also here, so I got to talk to him also, and felt really good about the school and started in their first class.
I have one follow up for you. Then
Yeah.
there is you started looking into schools and you landed on Tim. I'm
Yeah.
wondering when did you decide to maybe explore this career path in the first place?
Well, so I was graduating high school. I'd
Mhm.
just gone to a drug rehabilitation center, was
Mhm.
getting out of that, finishing up high school, finished high school, and then I kind of just didn't really know where to go with my life. I had worked on cars for basically my whole life. I kind of knew I wanted to go down like some sort of mechanical, like auto tech route, but I knew
Mhm.
traditional college wasn't really for me, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
Have some cousins up in Tulsa that were like, hey, you should check out aviation. That's whenever I first started, looking into different aviation schools. There's like Spartan and stuff, and
Mhm.
like the places up in Tulsa, but those are all like 4 year. Like you
Right.
get a degree, it's like college. And
Right.
then you don't really do aviation stuff until you've already gotten your associates.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, and then came to Thrust. Here we are.
Some days it's great, some days it's bad. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. It's really been remarkable to watch Carson grow over the last 12 months, right? Like, we had this
He hasn't gotten on
young
your nerves too much.
No. You have a young man that comes in and really doesn't know exactly what they want to do with their life, and it's we treat our program like a 9 to 5 job, right? So that every day is a learning experience in
Mhm.
one way or another. We get to go on, kind of go around and see different parts of aviation, and I do remember this one particular time when we had gone over to the Thrust Flights maintenance facility, and
Mm.
one of the more experienced mechanics was showing you guys how to clean spark plugs, I believe. And Carson, you know, started getting on his phone
Checked my phone for like 2 seconds.
okay, 2 seconds, and
Yeah.
it's just those sort of things are it's not appropriate when somebody's sacrificing their time to show you something, right? So we had a conversation about that, and Carson wrote a very nice apology letter
Yeah.
to George.
On my own accord. No one
Yeah,
told me to do it.
nobody made
Okay,
him.
I was gonna say, did you not tell him to do that though?
Yeah.
But okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I
But,
wrote a very long
we
letter.
went over and Carson delivered it to him and apologized, and
Yeah.
you
Now I
know,
see him
those-
every other time that I went over there. I see him. Say what's up, Mr. George. See
Yeah.
what gives me a little bit of knowledge with whatever he's
did you
working
feel
on
like
at the time.
do you feel like he like had noticed at the time and you were like, oh, I just don't want him to think that I didn't care about what he was doing?
Oh no, he had a call with John right after.
Oh,
It
really?
was like Carson and that Austin kid were on his
Gotcha.
phone, and
Yeah.
no,
How did that
absolutely.
feel though when like John brought that to you? I'm sure John had his own. I don't know. He's like, hey man, what but how did you feel
he
when you
took
knew
me
he
out
felt
back, and he
Yeah.
just don't knocked some sense of me. He's like, no more phones.
And it
Yeah.
worked, I guess.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I guess I'm just curious because when I find that I've like, even if I didn't mean anything by it, and I'm sure you didn't, right? But when I find that I maybe made someone feel some sort of way,
Yeah.
I tend to be like, oh, what can I do?
Yeah.
Do you feel any sort of way like that?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, hey, if you have any other projects, need an extra
Mhm.
set of hands, feel free to let me know. I'd love to come and help. And he had a talk with me, and it was a good learning opportunity because I learned. He was like, all these young guys come in, they're They got their phones on them all the time. You know,
Hmm.
you gotta turn it off, put it away, do not disturb while you're at work. You
And it
know,
is hard to hear
it's
that.
a
Like, yeah,
yeah, but it
I
was a
don't.
good
Yeah,
like learning experience. You know, of like once I start going to work, I gotta do not disturb.
perception at
Yeah,
least, even if you
yeah,
don't mean anything by it. Yeah,
mhm,
Yeah, I mean, it is that thing that we talk about all the time, right? Like, we're not just teaching you how to turn a wrench or how to
yeah.
like
It's also kind of
it's
life skills
life
with
skills. Like,
it.
we're here to mentor you, and
right.
that's one of the things for me personally that's so rewarding is to see somebody that actually is receptive to that,
Hmm.
right? So
No,
Carson has his license. Carson is a better employee than he would have been a year ago.
yeah,
Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
I would recommend him to go work anywhere. So if anybody's watching this, I know Carson has some good leads, but you know,
Yeah,
Carson has my full recommendation for any employer out there. Um,
solid.
it's been a great 12 months, but that's part of what's been so fun about this kind of whole experience with Thrust Institute of Maintenance.
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
Dunn told us when we started, he's like, "Hey, this is a 12-month interview, basically.
Mm.
Whether you're gonna get a little letter of recommendation or not, you can get hired back here or not." Yeah,
Hmm. Well, John's well known.
yeah.
So
That's what they say.
well, I guess there's some
Ugh.
truth to the point that this is somewhat of a 12-month interview because now you at least have his recommendation. So
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I guess now that if we take a couple steps back, you've gotten into the school and you kind of have to go through a few learning experiences,
yeah.
and some of them maybe not the ones you expect, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, I imagine myself, I'd start to feel a little nervous. How do you feel kind of towards the end of the program?
I mean, I'll be honest, dude. My O&P that whole week leading up to it, like,
Hmm.
sucked for me because I
Hmm.
was so stressed out. Studying all of it. I was like, man, I need to memorize everything. I need
Hmm.
to like really know everything. Everything I don't know, I need to go in the 8083, read about it again,
Right.
like learn everything. I was like, it was really hard for me to like eat and sleep. Like that whole week, dude. I got
Hmm.
like 3-4 hours every night.
Yeah.
Eating like a little meal every night. It sucked, dude.
Yeah.
And then even like that
Not that you
drive
would
home.
recommend that, right? That
No,
doesn't sound
never
okay.
recommend that. Like if you're, don't stress. Still, eat and sleep normally.
Yeah, but that's how it
It's
felt. Yeah.
it's just not the route I sadly took.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then that like drive home as soon as I got my license, I was like, wow, this is real.
Yeah.
I called John and I was telling him, and he
I was
was
with
like,
John actually when you
oh
called him.
really?
Yeah.
Oh
Actually,
yeah.
I heard him answer the phone, and that was kind of a cool moment. So
Yeah, he was like, who am I speaking to? I was like, John, you still not saved my number? I was like, you
he
have
did
caller
say that
ID?
though.
Yeah. He was like, no, are you an A&P or none? I was like, yeah. I mean, I was originally, whenever I was like going into that call, I was gonna like try and mess with him and be like, oh, I didn't get it.
But he beat you to
You
the
know,
punch.
but I just couldn't. I was
Mm.
too excited, and then I called my mom, and then I messed with her.
Yeah.
I was like, he said he'd retest me, he wouldn't charge me as much, blah blah blah, and she fell for it, and she got a little sad, and then I told her, I was like, yeah, I got it, boom, and
Yeah, that's really good. Well, I'll have more questions about that testing experience because I don't have a lot of insight myself about what that's like.
yeah,
But beforehand, you got that call, John, and this is first of all you've seen Carson from when he started, and you've had a class that's finishing up now. Well, what's it like to hear that these students are
Oh,
like,
it
yeah,
makes you proud, right? Like,
yeah,
it's it's kind of undescribable, right?
yeah,
I'm so proud of you, right? Like
thank you, sir.
for some people it's super easy and they just fall into it, and some
Mhm.
people have to work at it, and
Mhm.
it's all just kind of those learning steps, and it's been really like
Yeah,
really my pleasure to be part of the
Mhm.
entire experience that you've had.
yeah. I mean, if
Right,
you asked
because
me
you put
like
that together.
12
Yeah,
months ago anything about an airplane, couldn't tell you anything.
yeah.
Like as we were going through like the general portion of it, didn't know anything, and now it's like I have all this knowledge of like the ins and out of everything of like an airplane, helicopter, and
Hmm.
any aircraft.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool.
And I
Like the
will
first
follow.
time we weighed an airplane, right? Like all the things are like go out in the hangar, and it's just like your eyes are open and you're like,
Yeah, you're like, whoa, whoa, don't turn that prop. As we're like pulling out of the thing, you're like, don't turn the prop. The mag's off. I was like, what? What's a magneto?
yeah.
Like don't know anything.
Well, then that
First.
means for you, John, there's probably some learning experiences for you here, right? I mean, you put together this program. I think it seems like to me, I've been over there a lot. I feel like there's a lot of students in there and you've created a lot of structure. There were some learning experiences for you,
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure. And like with anything that you do, right?
Mhm.
Like we're constantly getting better,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like we learn lessons every day. We do things differently, or we do things the same, right? Like we're constantly evolving. It's
Mhm.
a constant evolution.
Yeah.
You know, every month we go back and we look at, okay, here are the grades that we're getting. Where are the shortfalls? What are we going to do to address this issue in this particular class?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we're always looking at those things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything can always get better. Anybody that tells you that what they're doing is exactly perfect, they're wrong. You're stagnant.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. There will never be a day when we sit back and go, okay, everything is great.
Right.
That's never going to
It's
happen.
good to accept that ahead of time, so that way you're always looking for what it is that you need to improve.
Yeah.
I'm curious, is there would you be able to in some way describe the difference between when Carson started in the program and when by the time we're at now? And I don't mean the difference in Carson, but even the difference in the program.
Well, so we have
Yeah.
more students, right?
Mhm.
You know, when Carson started, there were 5 of you
And then
guys.
we had another.
Today we have 40 students in the program. We still have Carson's class has graduated, so Carson's class did grow to 6 students.
Mhm.
They're all graduated, working on getting through their AMPs and that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
with more students, we're able to deliver the material more, right? So the
Mm.
more that we deliver the program, the more that we do these
Mm.
practical tasks, the more we identify, hey, you know, now I've had 40 people take this, you know, to this, you know, weekly quiz,
Mhm.
and 25 of them were, you know, short on this one subject area. Let's improve there. Where
Mhm.
with Carson's class, there was 5 of them.
Right.
One of them missed a question. It's hard to say, you know, it was a training deficiency
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
not Carson didn't study this week,
Right.
right? Which, what do you think that it was if you missed a question on something? Do you think that it was a training deficiency, or do you think that Carson wasn't studying enough?
Heard Carson wasn't studying enough.
Right.
I mean, they gave us all. I mean, you give us all the material, you know. But you can only put so many books in front of someone.
Yeah, like I tried this one method where I was thinking if I could just drill a hole in their head and just shove it in
Yeah.
their brain, because that's really how they kind of think that
Yeah.
they want it.
But but it didn't really work out that right.
Carson had a lot of like, if I sleep with my face a certain way
It kinda
on the
looks like 'em,
8083,
so, yeah.
will it just absorb?
Maybe if he
It
carries
absorbs in your subconscious.
He can
Yeah.
carry the study materials with them, and through osmosis, they'll
Yeah.
find their way in. But no, I've seen that in the school. I've seen you build classrooms with your hands. Actually, it's kind of crazy. Like this is, you know what I mean? But I say that to say that you know, you wanted to make sure you had what you needed. And there's another classroom being added on because we're freeing up some space, right? It seems like
Yeah.
you're not just gonna drop the books on people and make them figure it out. I mean, you have some stuff put together. You have a lot of instructors.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, you know, when Carson first started, I was the instructor,
yeah.
and I would, you know, we kind of joke I was the instructor and the director and the janitor and the
Right.
Yeah.
parking lot attendant and
Yeah.
all things, right? And you know, as we've grown, we have Colin, who's a great addition to the team. You know, he's working as a program coordinator,
Absolutely.
helping make sure all of his little ducklings are in class on time. And here, you know, just another person reiterating that we now have, you know, we have 5 instructors on staff. So we have instructors from different backgrounds with different knowledge bases that are, you know, take maybe a different approach than I do to teaching something. And it's all great, right? Like, and we have weekly instructor meetings where we sit down and talk about, hey, this is what we're planning on doing next week. You know, what is your insights? What are your thoughts? We have some guys on the team that have been, you know, I have one instructor that has been teaching AMP school longer than I've been alive, right? Like, you know,
John
lots.
loves his old instructor.
But you know,
But
they
lots
put a
of-
little bit of the history into you.
Oh,
so-
yeah.
Right? Like
Oh,
lots
they'll
of
talk your ear
experience,
off.
and you know, we're rolling through that. We have a new instructor that just started. His main role is kind of mentoring the younger instructors, and as well as prepping
Yeah.
students for oral and practical. Carson went through his oral and practical preparation.
Yeah.
And
He's great.
was successful, and Chet, you know, didn't hold any punches. He was hard on him, and
Yeah.
took him
Slap
through it.
that information in
He
him,
thought
and-
that, and when Carson went for his actual evaluation, he thought that the DME was being nice because Chet was so hard on him.
Yeah.
You know,
That's,
it's kinda
oh
like-
wow, that's awesome. Actually,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how they describe it at the flight school. You know, the instructors, they'll do these mocks, these mock exams, these mock
Yeah.
test rides and things like that. And it's like, let's go as hard as we can on the student so that
Yeah.
that they feel like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm ready for whatever they throw at me. So
Yeah, because you want the actual check ride to be the easy part.
right.
Yeah. I mean, it's like every sport. I mean, you hear like Kobe or whatever you say, like work hard in practice, so the games are so easy.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's
We used to say that when I was in the army. You know, we
really.
did PT physical training all the time.
Yeah.
and every 6 months you'd have to take a test. And
Yeah.
PT test was the easy
Yeah.
time, right? Because you only had to do push-ups for 2 minutes, and you only had to do sit-ups for 2 minutes, and you only had to run 2 miles. And then the faster you ran the 2 miles, the sooner you were done.
Yeah. They say if you shoot for the stars, you might at least land on the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's it. Yeah.
But I guess now that we're here, what the testing experience.
Yeah.
I don't really know that, like, what it's like. What's the structure of that? What do you
Yeah.
have to do?
I mean, first, I thought it was really cool that like John could see like a couple of the kids were like me included were struggling with
Mhm.
OMP studying. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, like you make like a big Word document with all the questions that
Mhm.
you're gonna get quizzed on, and you're studying through those, but it's hard to really drill that information and just
Mhm.
looking at the same questions over and over again. And something I thought was really cool is John literally just hired an instructor just to come purely teach us that, like OMP studying and stuff.
Mhm.
I thought was really cool.
Mhm.
But the OMP itself, I mean, I studied my tail off for
Mhm.
a while studying through all those questions. So, I mean, the
The data.
question,
Yeah.
the question side of it, like the oral part was, I don't want to say easy, just because I mean there are hard questions, you know,
Mhm.
but I think they were, kind of went through them a little bit quicker, just because all that information was just in my brain
Mhm.
already, and chat had drilled it into my mind. So,
Mhm.
the practicals, I mean,
What
they're
was that like?
practicals, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hands on. You're doing stuff. You're trying not to mess up. You're scared. And
Yeah.
the DME I took it with, all of his airplanes are also airworthy airplanes. So
They're nice, and he's watching you touch.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like brand new, fresh off of overhaul. Like there's not a speck of dust on them, you know. And
Mhm.
John told me right before I went over, he was like, "Do not mess up on these airplanes, dude. They are
Yeah.
airworthy." And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, you know. But I mean, I went in there. With all the training that I had from thrust. I mean, like all of the what you can call it, practical projects were all stuff that we had already done at thrust, so
Right.
kind of made it easier that I'd already done it before a couple of times. Some of the stuff a million times I'd already done it, you know.
Yeah.
So like safety wiring, I mean, done that a million times, you
Yeah.
know. Soldering, done that a couple of times. So
Yeah.
stuff like that was pretty easy. Compression checks, is kind of breezed right through those. There were a couple of you know, a little bit more difficult stuff, you know, that I had
Mhm.
to, you know, look in a book for, you know, kind of figured out.
That's probably that's part of the
but
test
that's
too, to
part
be
of
able
it.
to be
Yeah,
resourceful. It's
yeah,
not,
yeah,
you know, I
Part
think
of the test is making sure that you know how to that you know how to use technical data.
yeah,
right,
yeah,
and that's what I was gonna say, because no one's gonna expect. I guess it depends on what field and what job you go into, but at the end of the
yeah.
day, no one expects an individual to know everything about every plane.
I mean,
It's
even
not
then, they
about
still
that,
want you to
right?
look in
Well,
the
like
manual because you'll miss a step like that. You know?
Exactly.
nobody's going to know everything about every airplane ever,
Yeah,
right? Like that's
Right.
just not a thing, right? Like you
Yeah,
have
that's not what the
people.
training is.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
the training is to be an aircraft mechanic, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You have
To
basic
know where
skills.
to go find that
Yeah.
information.
And have
Like
the
I thought it was
aptitude.
really
Yeah.
neat. He got to do a fire loop. You did
Yeah,
a
the fire
resist.
loop on a Bell Huey
Yeah.
helicopter. He had this big Bell Huey in there, and I was like,
And that was a
so
part of your
So he's
practical?
got like
Yeah.
a
Oh, that's
he's
cool.
got an old military UH-1H
yeah.
that they keep down there. It used to be it was used in some movies. It
Oh,
was
really?
actually in Tropic Thunder.
That was that actually
That one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Oh, I'll
Yeah,
go
so
watch
that-
that later. Yeah.
So it's
That's
been in a
funny.
few movies. They keep it down there. It was in the middle of what they call an annual condition inspection.
Yeah.
It's experimental.
Mhm.
Really cool airplane.
Yeah. Well,
Well, got to
that
get on top of it and look inside of it. Do that. I'm checking the fire loop sensor on it. So pretty cool aircraft.
gotcha. Well, I guess I feel like you've already said it, but I wanted to say
Yeah.
or ask you if you had any advice for someone who may be approaching their testing experience.
I mean, you know, as soon as you take your general, as soon as you take your airframe, power plant, you know, as soon as you get your the codes that you get for the questions you got wrong, I would immediately make a big Google Doc or a Word document of the questions that you can you pull the codes from, and then
We-
just use like the Jefferson textbooks. That's what I used, which I feel like those textbooks help the most.
Mhm.
I heard some people used ASA, and then I had some buddies use the ASA, and they only studied those whenever they took their OMP, and they said it
They wish they had other
wasn't that
materials.
great, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I used the Jefferson, and it. I mean, a lot of the questions were pretty word for word almost, you
Mhm.
know, to that. So, yeah, I would just say just get in the books,
Yeah.
drill in all the information, and
Yeah.
Be fine. Don't
What
stress about it.
what
Right.
what did we say when you first started?
Shut up and listen.
Well, I mean, we said that a lot, but what was the thing that we were
So
constantly?
in the army, they
No,
say
no, no,
shut
no,
up and
no.
wait.
No, we were talking about if you just do what I tell you,
Yeah.
you will get through this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did say
Yeah,
that. I
John
saw
said
that
that like
recently.
one of the first couple of weeks, and I mean, I held him to that the whole time.
I know.
I
Yeah.
said that a couple of times. Every couple of months, I'd say it to him, like, "Hey, I'm still listening to you.
Yeah.
Still here doing it." So
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it turned
Yeah,
out well.
He's AMP. And he's
yeah,
trying to decide over a couple different job offers that he has. One
yeah. I just got
one leaving home and one maybe staying close to home, and
Yeah.
we'll have to kind of get that figured out. Thinking
Y-
about
yeah.
Carson, you're what? You're 20,
19,
Nine-
20 in March.
so
Oh, wow.
Carson's 19 years old,
Yeah.
right?
I didn't know
Um,
that.
He has an opportunity in San Antonio, making 36
Yeah, yeah.
just over $36 an hour.
Yeah,
He's
that's
working on
fantastic.
787s.
Working on
and Got that call
787s.
this morning. I was like, dude, that sounds
Well, that's what I wanted
great.
to ask you about a little bit. If
Yeah.
you had any sense of like direction for what you may want to do, and it sounds like you've got some leads at least. I mean, do you imagine? Let me ask you this then: what are you working on over the next 60 to 90 days?
I mean, my dad, luckily, he's a recruiter. That's
Mhm.
what he does. He does it in a corporate setting, you know.
Mhm.
So he's helping me make like a LinkedIn resume, get all
Mhm.
that stuff, like what recruiters look for at
Mhm.
jobs, because that's all he does all day, you know.
Okay,
So
that's good.
he's kind of helped me with that, and so I'm just shopping job boards and everything.
Mhm.
John
Yeah.
showed me JS firms, Aviation one, whatever. So just shopping those.
And you may end up in
looking at
San
different-
Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even mad about San Antonio because
Yeah.
that's where all my family's from. So
Mhm. Yeah.
that would be like one of the ideal cities if I had to move somewhere.
Mhm.
San Antonio, you know.
Nice.
So I wouldn't even be mad about that. But I'm looking into like hopefully working on like turbines, specifically like Boeing's,
Mhm.
like a 737 or like that 787 MRO that a guy called me about this morning, or just rotorcraft, going into some helicopter thing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So Carson will have a job in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's what
Um,
you need to let me know when that
it's-
happens. We need to
yeah,
post another picture because that's really awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
one of his classmate Austin starts Monday
At
at
Bombardier.
Bombardier.
Yeah.
He just went through.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was licensed. He got his license 2 weeks before you.
Yeah, he called me as soon as I got my license. Got like,
Okay, we get it. Tim is
Personal.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. That's so
he,
cool.
he called me. He was like, "Oh, it's about time you finally got your license." I was like, "Dude, I got mine first try."
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's funny. But no, you did. But you got yours though.
Yeah, I was like, "Well, shoot, finally got mine. 2
Yeah.
weeks, whatever."
Yeah.
Took an
Yeah,
extra
I mean,
2
it's
weeks to
just-
study.
Yeah.
It's not just that; it's timing with scheduling with the examiner and all the other things. We work through that sort of stuff. But 2 weeks is not like
Oh no, I mean, if
Yeah,
you spend a little bit of time in a program,
Yeah.
with another couple
So,
weeks to make sure you're prepared.
Austin had a job a week and a
What?
half after he had his
Yeah.
license. He had a job offer, and he had to pick between 3 different companies that give
Yeah.
him offers. And
I don't want people. I'm thinking about the listeners and maybe the viewers.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if how common is that of an experience? Not just with Tim necessarily, right? But
that is
I want people to understand the
extraordinarily-
industry.
That's right now. The shortage is so big that is a common problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good problem to have, having 2
Yeah,
or 3
so-
job offers to pick from.
Yeah,
too bad.
and Austin went after the one that gave him the biggest sign-on bonus and paid him the most money.
Yeah.
But some people are going to go after the one with the best schedule. Some people are going to go
Yeah.
after the one with
The
the
certain
type
plane.
of airplane that
Yeah.
they want to work on, right?
Yeah.
But that is absolutely happening, and it even to a greater extent than what is happening with the pilot shortages.
Right.
Pilot shortages are there, right?
A little
And
cyclical.
it's driving salaries way up, but
Mhm.
there's not a lot of examples where American Airlines and Delta and United are all fighting over an employee.
Right. Right.
That is happening on the maintenance side.
But I'm curious if someone's looking into beginning training as an AMT, then what would be your advice?
I mean, I would encourage people to shop around, look at different like the Spartan Aviation or whatever. Like I know OU has a good aviation program. If that's what you're looking for, if you want to get like a degree or something out of it too, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this just seemed like the best bang for my buck.
Yeah.
Get in 12 months, get my license, get out.
Yeah.
Start making money.
Mhm.
And then it wasn't like a big like loan, like AIM, like I saw that loan, I was like, I will never in my life pay
Yeah.
this off, dude. I'll be paying this off till I die, you know. And then you're there for like what 18 or 24 months or whatever their program is.
Mhm.
So whenever I started here, me and my buddies, we just there were tables outside of our hangar because I mean we're on an actual airport,
Right.
so we'd like to go eat lunch on the little tables outside,
Mhm.
watch the airplanes
Yeah.
land and take off. I mean, it's cool, just little moments like that.
For you, John, is there anything that anyone might need to know before looking into starting their AMT training?
Yeah, like every student that comes in, I encourage everyone to go tour all the other schools and find the place where you feel like you fit the best. My personal opinion, I would make sure that pick the program that's 12 months, right?
Yeah.
If you talk about the cost advantages or the analysis there, like the sooner you get done and sooner you get into the workforce and sooner you get those seniority numbers at companies that have unions, like that is instrumental in your long-term success of your career. Like Carson is going to be working as a full AMP at 19 years old.
Yeah.
Like
Pretty
what a
cool.
story. Like all of his friends, like this summer he's going to run into friends that are off at college. They're gonna be like, what are you doing? He's gonna be like, well, I'll probably make 80 grand this year.
Long-term goal, years to come. I mean, I don't know. Do you looking to travel? You looking to do anything specific? Anything that's kind of big? Have a family, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants that little white picket fence,
Yeah.
in a family. So just settling down like that, and just finding the job that I can grow at the most, has the most opportunity for growth, moving up in the company. So
Right.
just that, whether it's like working on like a Boeing like 87 or 37 or something, or whether it's working on like medical helicopters or something, just finding whatever best suits me and my needs
Right.
at the time, like pay wise, benefit wise,
Yeah.
PTO, all that good stuff, schedule
I,
wise.
and I congratulate you once more
Thank you.
on moving towards the next steps of your career. So,
Mhm.
I hope the best for you
Thank
going
you.
on in your journey. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
John does too.
Oh yeah, super excited for you. You're always welcome back here at Thrust just about any time.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
John said once you're done, dude, just don't even come back to this.
But thanks everyone for joining us on today's episode of Nuts About Thrust. We'll hopefully have Carson back here again in about 6 months. Tell us about his new job and how things are going out in the field, and just stay updated on your life.
Yep.
Yeah, and then one last update, guys. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you're still at this point in the episode, or if you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate you for watching. We are hoping to have more regular episodes coming out soon. Either way, if you have any questions, please put those in the comment section or leave a like and a subscribe at least. It really helps out the channel.
Yeah, we like the thumbs up. Thumbs up, right?
Exactly. Everything's a thumbs up. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Nuts About Thrust.
Thanks.